Okay, so I'm already in a foul mood, so if I come off as a bit of a cunt while doing this, my apologies. But Star Wars, as I have said before, is a very fantastic franchise, and it's a shame it got discontinued. But and I had a script for this, but I made like Disney with George Lucas's treatments and decided fuck it and threw it out in the garbage. But there was a lot of good content with the EU, and I would like to recommend you check it out. Like you had stuff like the Bane trilogy. You had lots. Well, I won't be giving too many examples. I'll be doing that later. But point is, it was a very expansive universe, very diverse. It offered a lot of shit to people who were a fan of it, and it's a crumb damn shame that it's gone now. And good diversity, not this shallow, shitty diversity at that. If you want diversity, you had that with Mace Windu and Jelly Bender. There are probably some other ones, but these are the main two that stick out to me. Like Mace Windu was a badass. I don't like him for causing Jango to lose his head, but yeah, he was a badass. And Jelly Bendo, well, he's Jelly Bendo. He's a likable SOB, depending on your preference. If you're into strong female characters, you had people like Mara Jade or Jaina Solo. So there was that to consider. If you wanted different genres of the types of stories, you got that also. Like, you could Call of Duty it up with the Clone Commandos or the Republic Commandos. And if you wanted to, I don't know, learn more about certain characters, you got that with, like, take Jango and Boba, for example, two of my favorite characters in the Star Wars universe. We got lots of good stories involving them in comics and in books. Really good shit. In addition to this, the EU is very expansive, like much like the name would suggest. It had a very wide history, like a very long one. And George Lucas, I'm pretty sure, okayed a lot of the stuff they did. Or that's what I heard anyway. Like, there was so many good stuff they did. Like, they did the Bane trilogy. They had these Boba Fett books. Like, if you've ever wondered what Boba Fett was doing, like, around the time his dad lost, like, surely before it, and what his life was like growing up on Camino, you get some of that in the books, in these books. Like, the one I got was The Fight to Survive. That one more or less gives you an idea of what Boba Fett's life was like after he was born on Camino, or created. And you see what happens in the aftermath of Jango's death. You had books about other Sith. Like, the Sith in the EU were actually very complex. For an example of this, look to Malgus. Like, I'm still reading a book about where you can learn a little bit about him, and yeah, he's kind of fucked up. Likeable, but fucked up. You get to learn a little bit more about Mace Windu. You get to learn some about, like, all these other characters, and they had, again, different genres, which I like. This is one of the things I like about the Republic Commandos, because those are my favorite group of clones. Like, they're badass. It's like this. It's like 141 for clone troopers, basically. And even if this doesn't interest you, like, there was stuff that took place after the original trilogy and the prequels. Like, you had stories involving Luke's niece and nephew, Jaina and Jason. You saw stuff with them. You had all sorts of good stuff. And Disney, fuck me, what they did was stupid. It was very stupid. Yeah, so in addition to this, you had just like, there were so many good books. Like, there was the Darth Bane trilogy. There was, oh, I already said that, never mind. But you had so much good content that covered centuries of time in Star Wars, all of which was good. Well, I think was good. Like, you had like all these additional characters that were introduced that they never downplayed how Luke was. They never downplayed how Han was. They were still the same good characters, as far as I can tell. I've mostly read on the Wikipedia about it, but I have some of the books that I'm reading now. Problem is, I'm capricious and I jump from one book to another based on my mood. So, but anyway, yeah, there's that. And they never had to tear down a character from an established Star Wars movie to build up other characters. Like, they never tore down Luke to build up Mara. They never tore down Luke or his kid to build up Jaina Solo, I believe was her name. I've kind of, for some reason, I'm blanking on the name. I'm sorry, having a brain fart. But point is, they never had to do any of the bullshit we see in the modern entertainment industry. You never see that, as far as I can tell. It's not present. Everyone is their own character. They have their own faults. They have their own problems, more or less. And they sort of build them up over time. The one thing that surprises me about the EU, though, is that I often hear people say it's a bad thing to have too many cooks in the kitchen, like in a project of entertainment. With the EU, this is kind of not the case because you had a myriad of people working on the EU comics and books and video games. Like you had Stackpole, Zahn, Karen Travis, who is one of the reasons why we have the Mandalorians, thankfully. Or the Mandalorians, as we know them in the EU, I think is a large part credit to her. Downside, she may be a little bit crazy, but oh well. So, point is, it's a fantastic series, and if you haven't, I would highly recommend checking them out. I should probably give some of the names. Maybe I'll do that in the description. I don't know. But point is, it's a very good set of stuff that was made, and it puts the fan fiction we see today to shame. It puts it to shame. No, it doesn't put it to shame. It bends it over a barrel and spanks it like a masochist with mommy issues. And this is more or less why I would say you should give it a shot. Like, you probably don't think my word means much. In fact, I don't consider my word meaning much, but this is one of the things I would bet my name on, or the credibility of my name. Like, my credibility isn't worth much to me anyway. To some other people, maybe it is, but I would recommend checking them out. Have a nice day, and pray for sanity. God only knows we need more of that.